Hello everyone, this is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, and check out the notes section below for important links. Hey, thank you for the Bitcoin to the person who sent me the Bitcoin. That was great. My Bitcoin address is below. So we're going to talk about not just Bitcoin today, but alternative media, precious metals. And I was watching the Greg Hunter show, a USA watchdog, and he had on the guest Egon von Greyers. And he actually didn't ask Egon about war, which was great because Egon doesn't know things about war anyway, so it was great. Egon is like a precious metals type of guy from Europe. Anyway, something that I thought was very interesting from the interview that Egon von Greyers brought up, and I will link to that interview below. He said that he thought that inflation, deflation, and stagflation could all take place at the same time very soon. And he went on to say that, if you want to store a value, you need gold and precious metals, and that his clients, since they're just interested in precious metals and store of value type of things, they're not too worried about the gold price because for them, they're just trying to preserve their wealth. Which, okay, all of that makes sense. But I want to go back to the deflation, stagflation, and inflation happening all at the same time. Now, if that happens, and I believe that can happen because there are many different assets. So in one asset, you could have inflation, in something else, you could have deflation, something else, you could have stagflation. Now, I don't think we've really experienced something like that before. And for that reason, but I do think something like that can happen where all three of those things are taking place at the same time. Not that deflation is a bad thing, by the way. Stagflation and inflation, no, they're not too cool. But if all three take place at the same time through multiple asset classes, and it's a whole new experience, actually. And for a whole new experience, you need a new asset class. And I think while all of that is going on, that Bitcoin would be the best thing to hold at that point in time. If all three of those things are happening in multiple asset classes and swishing back and forth between asset classes, that it's a sign that we're in a new paradigm and that it's time to try something new. And I'm not saying don't own your precious metals. I'm saying that in such a odd scenario as that, Bitcoin is something just to experiment with, definitely. Like, it will be your store of value. You're not going to have to worry about inflation with it or stagflation with it. It is deflationary, of course, but it's something to consider because I do think it was a very interesting point that he brought up that all three could take place at the same time. So hey, why not try something new? Now here are some other things, and I actually commented on videos, so I'm going to read some stuff that I wrote. But he also said there will be a time without money. Now that I do not believe at all. That I think is like just to get people. It's a fear porn type of thing. And we have Bitcoin now. And if for some reason the government created fiat just disappears, and I don't think that's going to happen, we will have Bitcoin there, so there will be money. There will be money. Bitcoin is there. It's not disappearing. So there's not going to be a time without money. So I think Greg Hunter should have brought up Bitcoin at that point. Hey, what do you think about Bitcoin? But he didn't say that. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, obviously. I also strongly believe that because of the general public's lack of intelligence, that the current financial system will easily last for at least the rest of the century, if not much longer. Mindless TV watching slaves are clueless when it comes to things like inflation and will gladly continue to buy their poison from McDonald's if it doubles in price in terms of the US dollar every year. So what I'm saying is we're going to have fiat money. We're going to have the dollar. The dollar is, I don't bet, at least don't bet on the dollar disappearing. Okay, don't bet on that, because there are some foolish people out there that just are living a mindless life where they just keep buying, spending. They don't try to achieve very much in life. They like their low-paying job, and they don't care if all their wealth gets inflated away because they don't have wealth in the first place. So you, as an intelligent person, you have to just not worry about the dollar going away. You have to worry about the dollar being inflated. So how are you going to store? What's a store of value? Okay, you've got your precious metals, obviously, and you've got your Bitcoin. So there you go. I mean, again, these are insurance policies. The financial system is going to survive. I think it will. I mean, again, stupid people don't care about inflation. They don't care if they pay $4 in 2015 for something at McDonald's and then it costs $5 in 2017. They don't care. The Mad Max scenario economy, at least, Mad Max scenario in terms of the economy, it's not going to happen. I mean, it's impossible because of Bitcoin now. Because that will always be. Now, again, if there's like I don't think if there'd be a nuclear war and every single thing would be wiped out, there'd be no internet forever and ever. We'd be living in the Stone Age forever and ever, and 90% of the population would be dead. Well, then you have bigger things to worry about. But I don't think that's happening. I don't think you should even have that mindset. You should just have an intelligent person's mindset where you learn about the economy, you learn about what inflation, deflation are, stores of value, and so you're smarter than 75% of the population right off the bat. So you're going to have some little tricks of the trade, which really aren't tricks, they're just common sense. You'll know how to save, and you'll beat everyone. Because there are always going to be stupid people. I guess I'm giving my basic economic theories here. One of my huge beliefs is just because I see how stupid people are, and they're always going to be stupid people. So you're always going to be able to do this fiat inflationary system. You're always going to be doing it. And because of technology, they're always going to be happy in their stupidity and in their squalor. Because a big screen TV, watching the NFL, going to McDonald's, getting fat, dying early, these are all things that will make them happy. And that they won't even get to the level where they'll have to worry about inflation. All right. So you don't need end of the world scenarios to own gold and Bitcoin. You don't need those scenarios. You just need the way things are going. And I mean, again, smart people always, no matter what, will always need a store of value. So there's your Bitcoin, and of course the precious metal people will talk about gold and everything. But I'm talking about gold. But hey, let's talk about who else to watch on YouTube here besides Bitcoin people. Because I talk about Bitcoin people a lot, but I just brought up Greg Hunter, who I have criticized before because he always asks that war question. But he didn't ask it today, so that was great. But other people that I watch, but I don't necessarily agree with, Peter Schiff. I mean, he's a smart guy. He's been wrong on certain things, but he's a smart guy, so it helps your brain out. Alex Jones is someone that I watch. I disagree with him on many things. On the conspiracy stuff, obviously. He's wrong on a lot of things. But he does get into some issues that other people don't cover. And he's becoming more mainstream now as Donald Trump becomes more and more popular. And he takes a stand, and he took a Second Amendment stand, Alex Jones. So Alex Jones is an interesting person. I mean, you really keep your mind open when you're watching him, just so you don't get pulled into some of his things that he's talking about. But he's been talking about some pretty solid things lately. And hey, diversify your mind a little bit. Stephen Mullen, who is a very smart guy, philosopher type person. I also don't agree with him all of the time. But he actually talks a little bit about Bitcoin. And he just uses logic and reason. And it's good to get that base. I mentioned Greg Hunter, obviously. Bill Still and I will link to all these people. And I'm just mentioning people who I'm always on YouTube watching stuff. These are all people, better to watch these people than to watch ABC and NBC and CBS. Because right now they're just all bought, and they don't, with the WikiLeaks thing, I don't care what side of the story you are on, they uncovered a lot of information, and who cares how they got it? That stuff that was revealed about the Democratic Committee and Podesta and even Veritas videos, I watched that. He's good. O'Keefe is a smart guy. But all of that stuff, the mainstream media wouldn't cover it. I lost all of respect that I had for I didn't have much respect for them at all. But I have none anymore after that. And so that's why, Alex Jones becomes a more legitimate option. But at least he's covering the WikiLeaks stuff. At least he's covering the Second Amendment. At least he's covering what, that there's another side, that there are actually conservative people out there, that like other states besides New York and California exist. I have traveled extensively, compared to most people, in South Dakota, in North Dakota, in Wyoming, in Montana. I've been on the road. It's a whole different world out there. But they deserve an opinion also, or a say in things also. This whole electoral college thing, the mainstream media would make you think that it's some like racist, archaic, old thing. And while in fact it's a check and balance type of thing that gives people in these smaller states say. Anyway, I'm going into politics here, which I don't like to go into. But again, Bill Still is another guy to watch too. I will link to all of those people below. I don't believe in classifying people as alt-right. I don't like these names and stuff. Hillary Clinton came up with that name to demonize people who think differently than she does. And so she is the way that Hillary Clinton thinks is not the only way to think, is what I'm trying to say. And I think everyone knows that already, but there are some other people, some other viewpoints to get. And on the same line of thinking, who do you guys think I should get on to be a guest on my show? And by the way, I understand the video quality of my show needs to be improved significantly before I have a guest on, from at least a remote guest. And I also have to figure out how to do the split screen interview and all of that stuff. Someone suggested, of course, the great Andy Hoffman, who I will have on. Of course. I'll have Andy Hoffman on, Miles Franklin. And by the way, I meant the people I just mentioned were all people who have channels. Doug Casey, he doesn't really have a channel. I Google him, I search for him. Andy Hoffman doesn't really have an Andy Hoffman channel out there. You can go to his site, but I'm just talking about YouTube sites. So, I of course watch the videos that Andy Hoffman, he's interviewed by many, many different people out there. Just as Doug Casey is, just as Vinnie Lingham is, Tone Bays. I find all those guys, they don't necessarily have channels. Tone has a channel now, it's a Bitcoin channel. I was talking about non-Bitcoin channels. No, actually, Tone's channel is a finance channel. Go watch Tone. Anyway, so who should I have on as a guest? Who would you recommend? And I would love to have, again, if I have Andy Hoffman on, he will talk about Bitcoin, but I would talk about gold and silver the entire time with him. Just because having Andy Hoffman on as a guest, people will find my channel who are only interested in gold and silver, and then they'll be like, whoa, what's this Bitcoin thing? What's this Bitcoin Meister? Interviewing people who aren't Bitcoin people on your channel will bring different people to your Bitcoin channel, and they'll find out about Bitcoin. Because we have to break down some barriers here, because there's just some people who believe this mainstream media paradigm about Bitcoin, that it's a terrorist thing, or who knows. That was the last video of mine you can check out. Anyway, so yeah, before I have guests on remotely, I will improve the video quality. I'll get a better camera and all that nice stuff that people have asked about, and I appreciate the constructive criticism. All right, conclusion. I should have linked to this a long time ago. Coinbase is facing a class action lawsuit because of Cryptsy. Cryptsy supposedly stole from their people who were using their platform, and I actually had some altcoins there that were stolen, and they used Coinbase apparently to sell the Bitcoin that they took from their customers. Anyway, I'll link to the article below. You can decide for yourself. Very interesting stuff. I'm Adam Meister, Bitcoin Meister. I will talk to you later.